Welcome back to part 3 of how to sell everything. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are ready to attack the week. Let's get into it a little bit. Before we get going though, if you just your first time visiting here, I want to introduce myself. My name is Dylan Crane. I'm currently the #1 life insurance agent in America. I've been doing sales for 15 years, built multiple $1-million businesses, and currently I'm building a massive life insurance agency. And then down the line, I'm going to be opening several more businesses in the future. But I'm teaching you guys how to do sales. Throughout the course of my career, I've done roughly over $20 million in sales, teaching people how to accomplish sales, teaching people how to level up their game, teaching people how to build businesses. I have commission checks right here that I can show you that I just received earlier this year. So looking forward to getting into it. For part 3, we're going to be going over 2 separate topics, getting very detailed into one specifically. We're going to be going over into mirroring, okay? And then we're going to be going over posturing, okay? How to have the correct posture and then how to have the correct mirroring. If you look back to session 1 and 2 that we did, we went over several different topics, whether it's tonality, whether it was scripting, whether it was pacing or verbal pacing. Go back and watch those if you haven't done yet. Let's get right into it. Grab your notes. Let's get ready to rock and roll. All right, so mirroring, okay? So what does mirroring mean? First of all, if you're ever speaking to an elderly lady that you can tell is old, okay? I want to match my voice with her. So let's go real quick. Let's go over the definition of mirroring, okay? We want to match the mood of the client and how they're currently talking, okay? Now, there's a couple of things that we want to change the mood of the client though, which we're going to get into a little bit later. But first, let's get into mirroring. Okay, let's create 2 separate people, okay? #1, I'm going to speak to an elderly lady that's looking to get some final expense coverage. Or maybe I'm speaking to an elderly lady that wants to protect her house, okay? She's speaking really slow, okay? So let's go over that. So I've oftentimes, if you guys have seen in my Instagram videos, I've started talking Southern for people that have a Southern accent. Well, it's because they relate more with people that might speak their language, okay? Now, that doesn't mean I don't know how to speak Asian or I don't know how to speak Chinese. So if that was the case, though, then you guys can certainly do that and change your tactics. I just don't know how to do that, but guarantee the trust factor would go a little bit higher. If you spoke Spanish, okay, and that person starts speaking Spanish, that trust factor is going to go much higher because you're speaking their language. It goes all throughout. So let's go over the elderly lady that maybe she sounds Southern, okay? Let's say she's like, "Hey, Dylan, I just need this type of coverage." All right, well, ma'am, like, just kind of walk me through, like, exactly why you felt like you might need some coverage at this time, so that way I can see if I can help you, okay? And that piece there, just with mirroring there, allows the client to become comfortable, relax, sit back in the chair, and ultimately feel a lot more comfortable because they're talking to an expert, okay? If you're talking really fast on the phone or you aren't matching your client's vibe, then ultimately you're going to end up losing the sale because think about it this way. If I have someone that's talking really slow, okay, and you're talking really fast, they're going to be like, "Man, this is really off of who I'm speaking with." Or, "I don't really trust this person because I'm being really slow. I'm really relaxed, but they're not. So something's causing me to feel a little uncomfortable here." Okay? So that's the first example of mirroring. When someone's speaking slow, speak slow. When someone's speaking fast, we want to actually slow them down a little bit. Okay? We don't want to match their speed. Okay? So we have to take the edge off. Okay? So if people are at work, we get that a lot of times. Okay? So let's say we confirm the information when we first call the lead or when we first call the client and they're like in a hurry. Okay, hey, that's not a problem. Like, I know you're in a hurry now. I can tell you're at work. Why don't we go ahead and do this? I know sound like you're super busy. I'm super busy as well. I'm bouncing from appointment to appointment here. Let's go ahead and schedule a time. Ben, do you have a pen and paper? Okay. And you get them, so you're stringing them along. Pen and paper. I want you to go ahead and write down my name for me. Okay. And then what we're going to do is schedule a time where I can call you back when I'm available because I know I'm not randomly available. And then we can figure out a time to chat. Okay. and he's still talking really fast, but I'm slowing him down to let him know he's speaking with an expert, not just a average salesperson, right? I'm not trying to speed him up through the process and get him off the phone eventually, or he's trying to get me off the phone. I'm trying to slow him down and book a time as a professional, okay? So this is kind of what ties into posturing. Mirroring and posturing really both go together really well, okay? So think about it this way. If you requested information to have your family covered if something happened to you, okay? Do people want to talk to an expert when they're trying to take care of generational wealth or generational properties for their family? So think of it this way. If there's someone that wants $300,000 of their home paid off, I know that doesn't sound like a lot of money to us, but it's a lot of money to them because they've worked so hard for that house. So are they going to want to talk to an expert that can give them or get them $300,000? Or do they want to speak to someone that's not an expert that maybe doesn't know what they're talking about, that's going to try to get them $300,000? It's not going to work. People, it's very important for them. They've worked their whole lives for this house or their life to be able to, take care or cover the things that they've worked hard for. So they want to speak to an expert. So a great way to become the expert in that person's eyes through the phone is properly mirror the client. Okay. Won't get too deep on that one, but you guys should understand if they're speaking fast, get them to slow down. If they're speaking slow, match them with their slow vibe. Okay. The last piece that I'm going to give you with mirroring that's going to transition us right into posture is this. Let's say you're speaking to someone that just likes to chat. We're going to call them chatty Cathys. Okay. So we call them chatty Cathys. And a lot of times clients naturally take control of the conversation. So when they're taking control of the conversation and they just talk for forever, that's, you probably always hear the stuff like, hey, I should, take control of the conversation, or I should be the one that's not talking as much. Well, think about it this way. If you're talking to a 70-year-old, all of a sudden they're going to remember they have to go to the bathroom after they've been on the phone 45 minutes telling you about their life story, and then they're going to ask you to call them back. And guess what? When you try to call them back, they aren't going to answer, okay, because they forgot, right? So what you have to do in order to make sure you're taking control of the conversation is it establishes you as the expert when you cut them off. So it's like, let's say, hey, look, let me tell you about this story a long time ago. Okay, ma'am, I want to hear about that story. Do you mind if I ask you some questions real quick first, and then I want to hear about that story when we get to a specific spot? Does that work for you? Okay, so we actually cut the client off, not out of disrespect, but we cut them off to help them with what they're needing help with. Okay, so let's go back to kind of the 3 points. Number one, if they're going slow, we want to match them with slow, but we want to still control the conversation to where we're not speaking for forever. If they're going fast, we want to slow them down and properly establish ourselves as the expert with proper posturing. So those are really two topics that we discuss when it comes to mirroring. Let's head into posture. Posturing. I want you guys to write down on your notes here some words. We're just going to go over words today, and then when we do part 4, we're going to talk a little bit more about posturing. Okay. So let's just talk about words we should not use when we're in a sales call. Okay. We should never say please. Okay. Why should we never say please? Okay. They are asking for things from us. Okay. So when you're the authority, okay, you're never really going to say please give me your social, or please give me your bank, or please give me your routing number, or please do this for me. Okay, it's lowering your posture versus, hey, give me this or go get this. Okay, whenever you walk in to get a car, okay, when you find a good car salesman, they're leading you through the sale. Okay, I don't want to tell the car salesman to do his job properly. I need him to control me because I'm asking for the car. Right? So if people want insurance, we have to lead the sale. So let's never use please. We never say thank you. Okay. The reason why we never say thank you is because they ask for the service. So why should we say thank you to someone that's asking for the service? That doesn't make sense. Okay. So it's like we're thanking them for them paying us. So think about it this way, right? If I have a client that wants to invest $1 million with me, right? Through, let's call it an annuity or some sort of financial process or product, or making assets, or with assets under management, I'm not going to tell them thank you for helping me invest their money. That doesn't make sense. All right, it's like, hey, thank you for that $1 million. It paid me a lot of money. Yeah, the client's going to feel like this is really weird. I want my money back. Like, let me go invest it in somewhere else. All right, so we never want to say thank you. We never want to say, can you do this for me? No, don't say can you, right? Again, we're leading them. We don't want to say can. So that's the third word, okay? So just to recap again, we never want to say please. We never want to say thank you. We never want to say can you. When it comes to booking a time, hey, I'm open whenever you want. Never say that, okay? The reason why I never want to say that, because now that lowers my posture, because now when I do that stuff, it makes me sound like I have so many times available, but a client wants to speak with someone that's extremely busy, okay? When a client's extremely busy, or sorry, when the salesperson is extremely busy, that means they do a lot of business. So when they do a lot of business, people want to go and work with people that are busy because that means they're an expert at what they do. Have you ever called into a doctor's office and they can book you like literally next day? Very rare, right? That hardly ever happens, okay? Because a good doctor is going to be busy, okay? And then lastly, okay, we can go around like the time, okay? We got to let them know that they value our time, okay? So let's say, hey, can't wait to see ya. Can't wait, okay? We never want to use can't wait, because if we say can't wait, then that sounds like, hey, we're, again, really desperate over what we're trying to do, okay? Or what we're trying to receive money from them. Especially when we're in insurance. A lot of people think we're in some massive, like, kind of call center or like this big old tall building and they're calling in for insurance, right? So when people view it as that, when they're thinking about calling in for insurance, are we trying to sell them something, or are we just in a call center just answering phone calls? Right? That's really the type of posturing that we should have, because we're not getting anything from it. So I always tell my business partners this: the less you act like you want the sale, the more they're going to want to buy from you. The more you sound like you need the sale, the less they're going to want to buy from you. Okay? It's like the law of kind of attraction. People are attracted to what they can't have. All right? This goes in dating. This goes in restaurants. This goes in cars. This goes in like everything you can probably think of. Everyone's willing to pay for something they can't have. People aren't willing to pay for something that they can easily have. All comes down to it, right? All right, so let's go over several things again. So you're going to see everything on the side over here, lay down from point 5. So I want you guys to write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the things that I mentioned. So you guys can add that to your sales calls this week when you're doing them, to get rid of those words that are going to lower your posture, okay? So that was part 1 of mirroring. Okay, and then we had posturing, part 1 of posturing, and then we went over mirroring. Okay, so I hope that was extremely helpful for a lot of you. These are the same practices I'm using to do roughly $1.9 million of sales my first year, and this year on track with building a team of life insurance agents of roughly 12 million this year. Then I'll still do 1.2 million on my own pen. And man, this industry is phenomenal. If you guys are struggling in sales, please like and share, comment on these videos. I would really appreciate it. I know a lot of people need this, and there's so many people that want to be successful in sales, but if they have not been, please share it with them if you don't mind. Like, share it on Instagram, share it on YouTube. Do me a favor, like and subscribe. That would be great. The Insurance Athlete here. Just to let you guys know, if you guys are looking for a job or a sales role, or you're looking to potentially transfer from another IMO, I'm currently hiring like 1 to 2 people a month. I'm looking for the right people. I'm not looking just for anyone. I'm looking for the right people. So if you're out there and like potentially looking for another position, go ahead and click the link in my bio. We have a webinar every single Thursday where I break down how to do insurance and how to be successful. And then I interview people to see if they are a good fit potentially for our team. And then I do a licensed only agent interview for 15 minutes with roughly 30 to 50 individuals per week, and see if they might be a good fit for us and what we're trying to do here at Crane Financial and within being an athlete within Crane Financial. So if that's something that interests you, go ahead and click the link in my bio. If you're just wanting just sales advice, and I have roughly 16,000 followers on Instagram, and then roughly 6,000 followers on TikTok, and then several hundred within the space here on YouTube. Go ahead and shoot me a follow over there. You guys are going to get free sales advice We're going to be coming up with more exciting things for you in the future as far as things that are going to give you value to help your sales career move forward. So I hope you enjoyed today, the lesson of part 3 of how to sell everything centered around mirroring and posturing. Put this to the test this week, guys, and let's go be the best.